Hello everyone and welcome to yet another episode of Diaries here at Church of Uganda Family TV with me, Phiona Mbowa, every Wednesday 9 p.m. to 10 p.m. At Diaries, we're talking about anything and everything to do with marriage, and we bring you real people, real experiences. As I keep saying, there's no expert in this. We're not bringing any expert in marriage, but we're here to just share experiences. And this evening we are privileged to talk about a topic that is a bit missed out or a bit not talked about. There's a way we easily ignore this topic and it has become part of us. But this evening we are privileged to host a couple that is going to share with us about their story. As I've said, it's their story, their experience with how to handle alcohol and other addictions that come around to and within our marriages. And this evening I'm privileged to host Jemimah and Derrick Miganda. You're very welcome.
Thank you.
How long have you been married?
What is your question?
Also for 12 years now.
12 years now.
Yes.
Oh, interesting. And for the sake of our viewers, I just want, especially Derrick, to tell us what you do, so that there's a bit of authenticating why you're the one to talk about this topic.
Oh, okay. I have a fabrication business, and I'm also a recovery coach. I don't know if that makes sense.
Who is a recovery coach?
A recovery coach is somebody who walks a journey with somebody who has stopped being addicted and wants to stay stopped.
So it's like an accountability partner?
Yes, but yeah, an accountability partner, but also there's some learning to be shared. But yes, you give somebody a program and you stick to it and walk a journey with them.
So you keep checking on them to see if they're following the program?
Yes. If they are church going, are they going to church? Are they doing this? There are certain keystones you identify. But also you have to talk about them, how they are feeling, what's going on in their lives, and this and that. And give them tools to stay stopped. Because there is stopping and staying stopped. It's a totally different thing. Most people in addiction have tried to stop on their own. Yeah, and somebody does something, I'm ashamed, I did this, oh, it's so bad, so let me stop. So it stops, but maybe the guilt wears off, or the shame, or a situation presents itself, and the opportunity, it's just the temptation is perfect. It's perfect. I've just got my salary. This has happened. It's sad. It's worth celebrating. So I forget all the bad things I do, and the drink is the next best thing.
So that's where the recovery coach comes in.
Yes, you can anticipate that what they call triggers. Like what triggers you. Like everybody has different triggers. Some people, it could be money, could be your trigger. So we can talk about what you're going to do with your salary when you get it. We create an awareness. Like in the last 3 months, this is what you did. You got money, this happened, this happened, this happened. So this time you're getting money, what are you going to do? Because addiction it's a cunning disease, and it's a disease in the sense that there's a part of you that wants you to do well and prosper, but also there's a part of you that wants you to get high and escape and this and that.
So, Derrick, you were once an addict.
Yes, I was an addict, and it doesn't start on, like when you pick up a drink, you don't pick up a drink saying, let me ruin my life, let me ruin my marriage, or this and that. It starts out for good reasons. It usually starts out in schools, and it's a bit of fun.
It's a cool thing to do.
Yes, actually that's where the bad boys.
The bad boys. So for you, did it start out in school?
It started out in school, because in our culture in Uganda, where I'm from in Uganda, drinking is a big part of the culture. So men drink.
Mm.
So you're like, oh, okay, I can't wait to be a man, I can't wait to drink.
Mm.
And so you go to these schools, but you have seen your uncles, your family around you, it's drinking, it's part of the culture.
Mm.
So you can't wait to start. And it was fun. We had our fun, we had our good times. What we thought were good times, we disturbed the administration.
Did you know you were disturbing them at that moment?
I think notoriety, being notorious, just there's a sense about it of rebellion. The youth, you want to rebel, to show, just to rebel, I don't know.
So at what point did you realize that was actually a problem? Or did you ever realize it was a problem?
Like I said, I managed to finish my school. I changed schools a bit.
Okay.
I got suspended here and there.
Just here and there.
Not a lot.
Just a few suspensions.
Yes, a few letters. We used to call them letters. I got a few letters to take home. And yeah, it was just, it was like people who get, not everyone who drinks or uses drugs or goes to a casino gets addicted.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not.
So what is that? What is like when you talk about addiction, what exactly is it?
What sets somebody apart?
Mm.
It's how you react to something. I had an abnormal reaction to alcohol. Like I liked it too much.
Okay.
Like alcohol is a depressant. You're supposed to get happy a bit, but you're supposed to sleep, doze.
Alcohol is a depressant. I thought it was an antidepressant.
No, that is a common lie.
Mm.
Yeah, that's why people doze off. You see people doze off, they black out. When you start, you first pick up.
Mm.
Yeah, that's the excitement. Hey, you see people shouting, but as you take more of it, it starts depressing you.
Okay.
It takes energy out. But like I said, there are different categories of people who drink.
Okay.
They are social drinkers.
Mm-hmm.
Like you'll go, take 1, 2, 3 beers, it's not a big deal.
Like because we are maybe at a function.
Yeah. Alcohol is a lubricant in society.
Okay.
It serves a purpose.
Mm.
Yeah. Like people take it, they are feeling a bit inhibited or shy, they needed some courage, they take a little alcohol, they dance. That's why it's a big part of our culture, especially in celebrating.
Mm.
Yeah. So people, the history in Africa, the drink was for a special occasion.
Mm.
Like, there's a wedding, there's this and that. So alcohol was kept for such functions.
Mm.
But then it became available.
Yeah, overly
available.
Mm.
So people indulge in it a lot.
Okay. So the part of how you know you're an addict is how you react.
Yes, because I have friends, because everybody, and being an addict, you have to answer it yourself. Because if people around you, your loved ones, are saying there is a problem, then you probably have a problem with it. But you say, I take soda and no one causes.
No one complains.
No one complains.
Mm.
I have friends, and like I said, we all experimented at school.
Mm.
Yeah, because this was part of our culture. In my school days, there were no movies. It was football and sports or drinking.
Mm.
There was no other activities.
Okay.
And drinking was, like I said, it was cool.
So wanting to fit in groups and
yes.
What are the other causes of this very, like drinking as
addiction is in schools, as shared in some schools. There's just performance enhancing. Yeah, there are drugs kids are taking, so we have to watch out for our children. Because they want to stay awake, they want to pass, we'll put them on so much pressure. So
they take some drugs.
They take some drugs. And all drugs and alcohol, they serve a purpose.
Okay.
In the beginning, they offer a solution. Like I said, you don't pick up and like, I'm going to ruin my life and this and that.
You're looking for a solution, but then
Yes,
yes.
it is. It's a devil's. It's one of the devil's cool tricks. He first lies you like he's helping you solve a problem. Get down the road. It's going to cost you a lot.
Okay.
So, sorry, just what was your question again? I was getting.
My question was
How do you know you're an
yes,
addict?
how you know you're an addict?
Okay. Apart from drugs, there's some drugs which are very highly addictive. Like even if you took them today, you would become addicted.
Immediately.
Yes, they call them class A. They are very strong drugs.
Like you take it one day and you can't leave it.
Yes, their withdrawals are very strong. Withdrawals is like you've been having something, then it's taken away from you. Now the body is craving. So it depends how high it takes you. But alcohol is a more slow-working drug. So you can tell, like when a group of 10 people are drinking, the addict person will ask for more.
Okay.
You keep asking for more. You'll have a different reaction from the other people. More of like you will ask for more. You keep drinking more. Who is more? Who is more? Who is more?
Because why I'm asking that is we could be dealing with addicts who actually don't know that they're addicts.
Yes, it's usually how you react. Like I said, it's self-diagnosed. If you want, you can. I can't tell you you're an addict because usually people defend because it's working for them.
But can people around you actually realize that you're an addict even before you?
Yes, it's usually somebody. It changes personalities. Yes. So if you're a kind, social, laughable person and this and that, you start retreating into yourself because people don't understand you. People start giving you friendly warnings. Say, hey, Derrick, why don't you cut down on the warrage?
Cutting down from warrage, you can drop down to bail.
No, when people start advising you like that.
Then you say there should be a problem.
Yes. But for addicts, because of the tolerance level, like for me, I tried dropping from, say, warrage to bail, but bail served no purpose.
Like there are different tests. Okay.
Yes. No, there are different sodas.
I thought all soda is soda, it just changes color.
It changes color, but there are those which pack a bigger bang. I don't know. Like spirits are harder substances.
So even they're trying to reduce from a spirit to normal, you would find that these cannot do anything.
Yeah, for example, spirit is 40%. The standards are around 40%. Then the beers, they range from like 4 to 10%. So the effect is definitely different.
It's different. So, okay. So along that journey, were you able to realize that you had become an addict, or it was the people around you that first noticed that?
People around start noticing and start, because it affects if you're a student, your grades start dropping.
Okay.
Your attendance, if you're working, people at work notice.
So for you, people at work notice that you...
I used to, yes, there's a time I used to work somewhere, and there were Muslims, and they report, they're like, one or two chocolates.
So you'd come to a Muslim workplace when you...
No, like one of our, like the supervisors was a Muslim, so she pointed it out. That here is a problem. But what usually happened for me, when I would get my salary, I would do what? I would fall sick.
So every end of the month you were sick?
It was standard, and until the money ran out, then I would go and go back, apologize, make up some story.
So at the end of the month, you take like a week off to first finish the whole salary?
It was a busy time.
Like you would get busy and work was actually secondary.
Yes, and this is a challenge people because I had plans, I'd have a budget, I'd have to replace the phone.
Which phone now?
Because, the phones would get lost, this and that. So you have a budget, you have to buy for your phone back, then you have transport and this and that, and you have a budget. And the budget say you leave some money for drinking to reward yourself. It's been a long
You've worked
month.
hard. It's a long month.
It's been a long month. Yeah. So this is what addiction is. You go to the bar and say, maybe I'll take 2 beers, 3 at most, and go back home. Because I'm not a bad person. The other time I did this and that. But when you'd go to the bar and pick up, it would become something else. So
you cannot stop after that.
Exactly. That's what makes an addict, like they cannot stop.
Wow.
Like other friends would stop or manage it somehow. Everybody has their managing thing. Drink has its diminishing returns a bit. What's the word? Like you can't take so many sodas, but you can take a little bit more beers. But
soda you can't take. You can't sit down and take 3 sodas. Like that's just
wrong. Yes, but people can say, perhaps people can take crates for you. Yeah. So it's diminishing because they enjoy, but it's what they call tolerance. Like say if you take 3 sodas and you'd get fun, next time you have to take 5, 10, this and that.
So it keeps increasing.
It keeps increasing. Then at some point, you just even take, it's like you have so much in your body.
It doesn't affect you anymore.
No, it is very interesting. It's like you're not soaked in it. Like you take and you just go back. So you find this is if you in the villages, because the village drunks are known, they walk around and this and that. You can just give him a 1 beer and the guy starts singing. Because he's so soaked in it that
just 1 beer.
Yeah, that now just like you're just topping up and
Oh dear.
but it is sad. That's what I'm saying. It starts out. My story was I really had fun. I had the most fun. You get? As you had to invite me at your party.
Like you were the fun of the group. You're the vibe. Eh?
Yeah.
You'd bring the vibe.
Yes, I had my 10 jokes organized. I had my cat dancing stroke.
So every party you must, for it to be a party, you should have attended.
Yes. Then it reached the point where we don't want that guy at this party, man.
Because now it had become too much.
Yes, now you're a nuisance. You had done the cycle.
Okay. What are some of the implications of alcohol or addictions?
Okay, the obvious ones, and there are different types of alcoholics. For example, they are functional.
Okay.
Like they are drinking every day. They're in the bar. They have to drink. But they just have a program in them that tomorrow I have to show up at work. I have to perform a certain function.
Whether I've drunk up to 5 a.m., 7 I'll be in office.
Yes. So those functional ones. Then there are those who, like for me, I couldn't.
So you're not functional?
Not for long. Like I tried, but because I had to drink, we had things of, you have to wait for the sun to come up, you had to finish the drink. Where are you going? You still have something on the table, kind of thing. So, no, for me, I wouldn't function. So the effects on oneself, losing the job, addiction.
You lost your job at some point?
Yes, I lost many jobs in very colorful ways.
You say colorful. You make it seem colorful, really.
Some would write letters of resignation.
For no apparent reason.
It was like you've got too many warnings and
you don't wait for them to fire you, just resign.
Yeah.
But at some point, didn't you feel like, I'm losing so many jobs, is this thing worth it?
The thing is, it starts like at 100% fun, when you're reaching 50%, you start, it's a compromise. You're like, okay, I'll do what? I'm losing opportunities, but I still have my friend. It consoles you. It's like this is like a
the
Holy
one thing that is
Spirit.
not going away from me.
Yes, like I go, she has annoyed me, I can't drink. You get it? I'm bored at home, what can I do? You just walk to the bar and there's happiness. People know you, they'll welcome you or things like that. It's an escape. So it's like when the pain comes, you really need to escape
You
now.
know where to go.
Yes. Other processes bring more pain. Yet, say you drank all your money. You did what? If I talk to somebody responsible like you and say I drank all my salary in one night, you would maybe make me feel bad about it.
So to keep feeling good, I just keep drinking.
And now they call it's self-medication. It's like it's a painkiller. I take it, I don't feel too bad about life.
Wow.
Life is bearable.
It's bearable with it. I can imagine. Let's go to Jemimah just briefly, then we'll come back to you. Jemimah, in all this, where are you?
Lost, I should say. Like he said, he just mentioned something just now where he said if Jama is asking, hey, you've drunk all the salary, you see? And that also causes anger of its own as someone who feels they are better, they don't have the problem, they feel they have to fix, you know. Then there is also the shame that comes with it. That says, hey, my partner, my husband does this. So maybe sometimes you first keep it to yourself. Then when it gets a little bit tough, you want to maybe talk to someone. So usually in such scenarios, you're lost. There's that first, it's also denial in a way for us. It's you're lost, you're in denial. Yeah, you don't know what to do. Then your, what can I call it? The first reaction is usually, eh, what? How?
And the fear of judgment.
Yes, because
We
you can't
can
tell.
judge,
Yes, you can't tell your friends. You can't tell your family. You first deal with it in house until it reaches a point where it's now too much. You also have to burst it, and then that's when you open up about it.
Okay. So in all this time, did you think he had a problem, or you thought it was?
At the beginning, no, I didn't think it was a problem. Like he said, it was more of going out, being the life of the party. And once you're going out with someone like that, you also feel, yes,
that's
you
a
also
nice
feel,
person to be around.
yeah, this guy is cool, he's the vibe, he's this and that. So you want to associate with that. Like he said, he was a bad boy. So for some of us, we feel that bad boy vibe is there. So it starts off like that, and you don't think it's a problem. It's fun, it's okay.
I don't know why good girls like bad boys.
I don't know. There's an attraction there.
So for the start, it was just the bad boy. You didn't see the problem.
Yeah.
At what point did you realize that there was a problem?
When there were a bit of events that didn't seem normal. Like he said, you get out of hand in a way, you become a nuisance. So that's when you, this is now a little bit, it's weird. Like he said, you're 10 people on the table. Why is it 2 people are acting in a funny way? They're either getting aggressive, or they're the ones shouting the loudest, they're the ones who are, that's when you notice that, I think there's something here which isn't right.
So would you escort him to drink, or he would go alone?
Sometimes, yes, if it's a point where we had to hang out together just as partners or spouses, yes. And then there are times I couldn't keep up, because for him, of course, it was every now and then. Let's say in a week, maybe he would hang out like 4 times a week. I couldn't keep up with that. I also had my limits. If I'm to go out, it's either Friday or a Saturday. Yes, something like that.
So the times he would refuse, like, okay, not refuse, miss work and such things? As a partner, how would you handle that? Would you be able to tell him, like, would you talk to him and he actually listens and goes to work the next day, or it was just
sometimes I think one, you want to, because you feel at the back of the mind you want to fix the person, so you become a part of the excuse. Or let's say they are looking for him at work and maybe they are calling Jamai. Then I'm like, no, yes, I'll not give him in there at that moment. I'll say, yeah, actually he's sick. But at the back of my mind, I know it's a lie, and I'm like giving an excuse for. Yes, so at first you're supporting.
You're being the supportive woman.
Yes.
So when did you reach a point and know that, you know what, or did you ever reach a point and say, this is enough, something has to be done about it?
Of course, yes, but because at that time I was a little naive of what the problem is, my first reaction was to fix the problem as me Jamai.
Change them.
I see there's a problem here. He has to get better. I have to do this. Then you're forcing the person to do certain things. You have to go to work. You have to do this. Now use your salary for this. It has to be done.
Did you try keeping your salary from him? Did you try that? You keep the salary from him?
I can say yes or no in a way. When it comes to managing the finances together as a partner, you want to say, what are you bringing to the table? I'm bringing this. Then you want to hold on to that. But also because of the nature of his disease, he's also fighting to keep money. Yes. So then clashes would probably come in at that point, and that's when now things start escalating. Yeah. So it would depend on certain events. Yeah.
Okay. So, I don't know, who of the two of you got to a point of now we need help? Was it, I don't know, Derrick, did you realize that yourself that you needed help, or help was forced on you?
My story was help being forced on me. It was actually, somebody just told me, you know, you look at your situation, there's what they call rock bottom.
Okay.
Like...
when you hit rock bottom?
Yes, like, and usually people hit rock bottom and they stop starting. So, what they're saying, you hit rock bottom, then you stay sliding on it, then, but you keep losing opportunities. And somebody said you need help.
Okay.
And it resonated in that moment, you know, to tell somebody. The timing has to be, it helps if the timing is right.
Okay.
It's like if I find you there, they have just promoted you at work. It's interesting, sometimes people have a problem, but they are doing well at a certain level. Yes, sorry, I hadn't finished your question of, you had said the effects. When do you know what does alcohol affect? And it's usually relationships. It's the people around you who are closest to you who suffer the most. There's somebody who said it very well, said like anyone with an emotional connection to you, you send pain through it.
You send pain through the connection, whatever.
Yes, so you're disappointing people, you're not keeping your word, you're not playing a certain role in their lives like you're supposed to. You're not a good husband, you're not a good father, you're not a good son, you're not a good uncle, a good friend as well, and this and that. Those people can't plan with you. Yet, you just you make people uncomfortable and things like that. So, yes, getting help. So it depends where you time somebody. Because there is a lot of, you see, it's a disease. Maybe I'll explain what the disease is. But it also, you know, when they say that person is fighting cancer. So, like if you fight a disease, if you are trying to cure a disease, it puts up a fight. So alcohol also puts up a fight. Pride is one of its biggest weapons. It says, who are you? Like if Phiona comes to me and says, no, Derrick, thank you, you need to stop drinking. I'll go and say, but for you, you also have these issues. Who are you to tell
You
me?
list all that
Yes.
Me, I only have one. For you have
And church people are the ones who used to suffer with us a lot. You go to church, but you do this. You're a hypocrite. You bribe the policeman. So who are you? You're not perfect. You get? So leave me in my thing, and people become very aggressive, and people can start fighting actually from that point, because you are attacking now my solution. It has twisted my head, and for me, I don't have a drinking problem. I have a drinking solution, and you want to take it away from me.
You want to take my solution away?
Yes, and you are using a moral high ground and this and that. So, yes, so when I was at a rock bottom, and somebody said you need help, and like, okay, maybe I should get help. But it's a very tough time, because you're living one world to join another
without your friend.
Yes, and it's not exciting. When they tell you to stop, you don't think of all the bad things I've been doing. Like, oh, you know what, I crashed the car, I need to stop. You think of that time you're with your friends and you really had a good time, and now that's what they're taking away from you. So usually that's what you're fighting for when you're looking at somebody and say, what, Phiona, you need to stop drinking. So Phiona now will go back to maybe like campus days where she was not like the immediate past where it was a problem.
Those are the times when it was a solution.
Yes, when that's now putting up a good fight. It's like, there were really good times here, Derrick. You're the ones who messed it up, but I was sorting you out, kind of thing.
Okay, we're going to take a short break, and after we're going to come back and continue with Derrick and Jemimah. They tell us their story, how they've moved from Derrick being with his friend, the alcohol, to now being able to be a coach and helping other people get out of it, but also stay sober, as he has said. Don't go away. Church of Uganda Family TV, I'm Phiona Mbowa. Welcome back. This is Ring Diaries with me, Phiona Mbowa, here at Church of Uganda Family TV. And we are talking about addictions, especially alcohol addiction. And before the break, Derrick was sharing his story and how it affected the people around him, coming from being the vibe of the group to people not wanting to be around him. And Jemimah telling us how she was able to realize at first it was fun to be around the bad boy until it became too much. And Jemimah wrote a book called Another Empty Bottle. And I was privileged to read it. And I just wanted to know, what prompted you to write this book? There's so many topics that you could write about. Why Another Empty Bottle?
I think it was more of coming from an area of pain and wanting someone else going in the same situation to know that they are not alone, that they can find certain tools or people who can help them walk that journey until they feel better about it.
Okay. So how did you help Derrick through this journey? He said he had hit rock bottom and someone maybe told him that, you know what, you need to sober up. How did you help him?
I think number one, he's when the need came for him to seek help, I embraced it as much as I could, because of course if he is better, we're also better as a family. So I tried as much as possible to support that in every way that I could in order for him to get better. So I should say that was the main thing.
And I've been, as I was reading this book, and as I was telling you earlier, the one question that kept coming to my mind is, why did you stay?
Why? The biggest is, I should say, love. That's number one. I really, really loved him, that I felt I wouldn't want to lose him in any way. But also at the time we had a child, and I really believe as much as possible a child should be with the mother and father and that involvement should be there as much as possible. So that's where all this came from, that how can we make this better so that my child can know her father, so that her child can be, he can be involved in the child's life on top of the love that I had for him.
But at that point, could he actually be a good father?
Yes, I could say yes. Why? Because his personality outside the alcohol was totally different. And that also gave me a platform to believe that he's a very nice person. He's very caring, he loves children, very supportive. He's one person you can easily talk to and you feel a little bit better. That was outside the alcohol. When he had the episodes of drinking, it was a different story. But because I knew that before the drinking, it kept me going.
So for the woman or the man, because of that, and I know Derrick said that in our culture, men drink, but the culture looks like it changed. Now even the women,
Yes.
They have caught up.
they have caught up, and I think even left the men at some point.
It's crazy out there. It's crazy.
So for the spouse, someone who is struggling with a spouse who has an addiction, maybe to alcohol or whatever it is, what are some of those effects that this has on the marriage?
The effects are many. Financially, it affects the marriage quite a lot. Emotionally as well, it can be draining for both the spouse and the children as well. The children also get a fair share. They may not talk about it, but they see how mom is reacting, they see how dad is reacting, and because we don't tend to think about the children at that time, we are thinking about the spouse and the addict himself. The children tend to be left out in the whole process of all this, so it also affects them in a certain way. But also the fact that you would want to see the relationship grow. It keeps the relationship stagnant in a way that you're not seeing. As a couple, you're supposed to do this and that in order for the family to be better. So there are points when things are just stagnant and the relationship is not probably growing or progressive. So it affects quite a lot in that area. Mental health today is quite a big thing. It also affects loved ones of the addict in a way. So they also need to be paid attention to and given some hope and support wherever.
Okay. And Jemimah, before I get back to Derrick, for the person out there who feels that this is too much, I need to go. It's too much. We have people who are saying, I can't take this anymore.
Yes.
Because if Derrick says he had hit rock bottom, both of you had actually hit rock bottom.
True.
Now for that person who feels this person has hit rock bottom, but they don't want even that help, and I want to get out of this, what advice do you give them?
One, I'll start by saying at the time I was going through this journey, support groups were not common. Today, I think they're a little bit common. We have so many rehabs out there, and all these rehabs have support groups.
I thought the support groups are for the addict.
Even there are support groups for wives of addicts or husbands of addicts, or even children, they are there. But just as you're surprised to know that they are there, I guess even so many people out there don't know about this. They don't know where to go to seek help. Because we are African, some of us don't believe in
strong.
We don't believe in therapy as well, and yet we actually need
for the weak.
Yes,
and that's what we keep telling ourselves.
And because of that, we deprive ourselves of those opportunities as well, to know that even us ourselves who love, either you're a mother of an addict or a spouse of an addict or a child of an addict, you really need support to see how do you manage. Sometimes it's the way we treat them that also triggers them in a way. Like he gave an example. He has drunk all his money, then I come just shouting and shouting. So he runs away and goes back to the bar.
But wouldn't you be justified? Because I'm sure there are people who feel, I'm justified. This is too much.
Yes, that's true. You may be justified, but the approach you're using
can actually make him worse.
Exactly. And that's where the support groups come in. They will guide you on how to react. They will guide you on what to do. Then also we have to understand the problem, can I say, or the disease. There's a lot of information on the internet today for people in such situations. So when you read and you get information, you will then know how to deal with some. Imagine for a spouse can choose to leave the relationship, but a mother can't let go of her child. She can't say, I'm disowning my child. It comes from a very hard place to make that decision. So how does a mother or a father of a person like that then cope? You can't just say, I've given up, you see. But a spouse can easily say that, let me go with the kids, you see. Which privilege a mother or father doesn't have. So how does a mother and father as well get support? The support groups are there. The only thing maybe I would say is that these support groups are not commonly known, which is also a disadvantage. But I think if you could get that, attend therapy, go to these family groups, you'll even realize that the person you thought was the worstest to you is not. You're like, at least now for my husband doesn't do that, but the other one, you see those kind of things. Then you walk the journey together because they understand what the problem is. So you form a community, you form a group where you come once in a while and discuss. Yes, or last night my husband didn't come home, it was like this. You call someone in the same situation and you walk the journey together. So yeah.
At some point, didn't you just want to join him and share a friend and be happy?
No, I think, like he said, there are some people with whom alcohol treats very badly. First of all, I should also say I came from a family where my dad was very organized with drinking. He never drank during the week. He only drank on Friday and Saturday. And he had a maximum. He would only say, I'm drinking 3 beers and that's enough, and he would stick to that. Then I come and fall in love with a man who has to take more than 3 and has to be high. I also didn't understand it. I also didn't know, back in the day, you'd see someone drunk, looking dirty, falling on the streets, and you're like, even abused, you cross the road on the other side, and something like that. I didn't come from that world, really. Then I come, and then I fall in love with someone who has. So I had to also adjust in a way. There was denial. Is this really? How? I used to laugh at so-and-so, and even contribute to negative KB about someone's brother being an addict or someone's father being an addict, and now it's me in the situation. So I also had to flip my mindset in a way and say, what is this? What is this that someone can't control? Just a beer that you can't control. How come? Then that's when I learned it is a disease. You need to support in such a way and things like that in order for us to be better. We walk the journey at some point together.
Wow, interesting. So people out there, if you have a spouse struggling, hang in there. Just imagine you're the mother. You would have no option, as you said. You have to hang in there.
Yeah.
So Derrick, someone tells you at that point when you feel you've also hit rock bottom, that you need help. Where did you find that help?
You are encouraging people, and maybe this may get lost in translation or something. There is victory over addiction, and people, it may not be clear, but I've met people because I talk to a lot of people and encourage a lot of people, and they leave, they go to a facility that like one I went to that is a controlled environment. And they keep you away from these substances, and they give you some psychoeducation, and you get aware of the situation. But you are in this environment, then you go back to maybe a toxic environment. Some people, they have left rough, like, when by the time somebody is at rock bottom, like you put it so well, even this side has created a lot of damage. So sometimes people come from here, where they've gotten help, and go there, and people just want to, because you gave me pain,
I should also inflict pain.
Yes, you're not getting away with this. You get it. It's unfortunately, it's a bit common But people need, and it's not a one-off thing. Like, oh, say today we've got, let's call him Daudi. So Daudi, vakumwenge, uvudeko, tumutute wano, kamujanjabi, akomi waka. There's a lot of hope, then somebody gets back into the habit. Because habits take, they are strong. Like I said, somebody maybe has been drinking for 20 years. So this is so ingrained in who he is.
Like it's part of him.
Yeah, what I mean by that is like, I can go to a bar and drink without alcohol. All my friends are people who have said, okay, we all drink. It's like going to church and say, all my friends are saved. You get? There was a time I was in a church setting and they asked people to go out and talk to reach out to their friends. And I said, but all my friends are saved. For me, all my friends are not saved. So that
means you're coming back to a place where, yes, for you you're changed, but everyone else is not.
Yes, that's why you need a kind of, that's why recovery coaches, support groups come in. Like you go talk to the family, and the family has doubts. Will this man...
Will he actually change?
Yes.
Can he last a week without a drink?
That time he tried, you know. Because people have been, like she was talking about, and it's very common, people first try to contain it. Then what usually happens is I'll say, I'm going to stop drinking. I saw the bad thing I did.
Like and you apologize?
Yeah. And I am sincere in that moment.
So what happens after?
It's the best we could describe it as a feeling. Now the strong feeling is remorse. I did something terrible. I'm so sad. I'm a feeling being. See, you know what? It was terrible. Even I accept it was bad. It was bad. I have to stop. Some uncle who told me, he had come to lecture me. But he was like, now for you. It's like, I've come to give you quinine, but you have already injected yourself. Because I know it's bad.
I know what I'm doing is bad.
Yes. And it's like in Romans, when Paul is talking, the things I don't want to do, I do the things I... So every human being has that conflict within, but for the alcoholic, mine becomes visible. Because my failure, I drink and I'm like, hey, what's up? For you, I don't know what you struggle with, but I may not be able to see it looking at you.
True.
Yeah, there are people who go out there, they've gambled.
And it won't show on their faces.
Yes, there are people who struggle with pornography. You can't be able to see it.
You can't see it,
So, mine is exposed, it is public, it's there. So I say, you know what, it's bad. That's the feeling.
I know it is bad.
So one of the things is, because I haven't yet picked up tools, I'll go to what I know. I'll go back to my friends. So they'll tell me, hey, Derrick, what's up today? You're drinking a Fanta. Someone is like, don't bring flies on the table.
Fanta brings flies.
Bees, sorry. Don't bring bees to the table.
You're bringing bees to the table.
So you start feeling a bit, now the feeling is changing. You start forgetting all the bad things you do, and you just tell yourself, no, why not? Just take like one.
Just one. I've gone through the process, at least I can manage just one.
Yeah, time, you know what, I hadn't eaten.
Like you're giving excuses.
Yeah, you have to, this is a mind thing, so you have to justify. And you're doing it for good reasons. You're not like, let me drink and ruin all these things. Just, I'm taking one with friends. What's wrong with a beer among friends, really?
What is it exactly?
Yeah, and people say, there's nothing, come on, just take this. Everybody gives their experience. I take this, but I do this. So this feeling, it's a ruling feeling. So unfortunately for you, when you put it in your body,
it reacts different.
It reacts different. So you say, hey, another one. And if people start causing, let me go to another place where people understand or this and that.
That they shouldn't be closing time.
Yeah, we're supporting the economy.
So for someone struggling out there, for someone who is seeing this and maybe they're going through the same, if I've got help, what are the things I should do?
One, there is the foundational step, or what you have to admit to yourself that, I can't handle this thing. It is so important. It is in church circles, like they say that they gave the law. So what you see the law and you know what? I need help. I need grace. Here it is this thing, because like I said, you have to look at its opposite again. Not like for when I look at alcohol, I look at it not as just to represent fun, good times. Like when I drink, it's a party.
You're happy.
It is guaranteed. I don't have to fast. I don't have to tithe. I don't have to know a scripture.
There's a place of no judgment.
Exactly. It's like I take it. It is it's assured. I feel it. I belong. There is no mystery. Did I hear the Holy Spirit? Was that you or what? I get a
no mystery. It's clear.
I get a result. You get, and my brain records that. So when I look at alcohol, there's always that promise that what, there's some enjoyment here if you know how to maneuver these streets. So that fundamental thing, and somebody has to look in themselves. They have to keep quiet. Sometimes you think, the spouse is nagging me. That's the reason. It's my work. You get, if I had money, all these problems wouldn't be there. If this kid would behave, if there was a certain president in power or this and that, or if I go to America, you get. So the problem is usually out there.
It's not with me.
Yes,
it's everyone else.
Everybody else. Everybody hates me. They don't understand. But it is self-reflection. Like everybody has. By the time you are contemplating this question, you have probably been using for a couple of years. So you look at the body of that evidence. What happens with me outside? Because like for me, I had a problem when I was in Uganda. I left the country. I went to another country. So I thought this environmental factor
was the own causing.
Yes. So let me go to a country, as in the UK, where nobody knows you. The world is tough. What? No one's going to. You can't do your manyanga here. But you find your tribe. You settle, you take a job. When you start drinking, you find people who drink like you. And then you start the party all over again. So you start seeing that, okay, when you look at it, I don't want to use the word soberly, but honestly, and see, I have a problem. That is the beginning.
That is the beginning of realize. You need to realize that you have a problem.
Yes, not her to tell me I have a problem, because I can talk to her.
And assure her how you have no problem.
Yes.
It's the whole world with a problem, but not you.
It is, when the government changes, let's go to another church, or
things will get better.
Yeah. So that is so key. Once that happens, then somebody needs to tap into a spiritual help, a power greater than themselves. Because if they could have managed it, they would have done so already.
Definitely.
Because they have done so many experiments. I played around with this thing for 10 years, trying a bit of this, a bit of that, different combinations, even put in some drugs, do like this and that, and so it is. It's crazy, but once somebody admits they have a problem and they need help, in Uganda, it's very interesting. People have quit in so many interesting ways. I had an uncle who quit in a dream. Yeah, Jesus appeared to him in a dream
and he quit. That's interesting.
It's the stuff of legends, man.
And he actually didn't never
until his death.
Wow.
And he was very.
Start praying for Jesus to appear.
I wish I could pray for everybody
to have such an experience.
Yeah.
So the journey of recovery or sobering up, as you say then, how was that? Wasn't it a bit tough for the 10 years you've done this?
It can be. No, life is interesting. When you're at a certain point, you're like, oh, it's not so tough. It was easy. But when you, because like for me, going through a weekend without drinking was a big deal. It was really a big deal. Like Friday night and you're at home.
Doing what?
Exactly. Like life can be so boring. You get, like, and this is usually one of the biggest questions I get asked a lot is, I'm going to quit and do what?
And do what?
Because I'm artificially, I know excitement at 10. So now you're telling me to do what? To be with the kids, to watch a movie.
Play football with the children.
Yes, that doesn't look exciting.
So how do you tell these people, quit and do what?
It is, it's a case by case. Usually people, for me, sports was a thing that the addiction had stolen from me. And luckily these days there are a lot of facilities. So like when you go run around and you're doing something positive, it feels good. Go to the gym. But the spiritual aspect is the big deal.
Yes, it is.
So like for me, later I got to know Christ and I helping people. Like I know for me that is where I make my connection with God.
By helping the people
Yes.
going through it.
Because I know that this thing kills. It is really, people don't really appreciate how dangerous it is. People, families, you are depriving children of a mother, a father. There's a lot of nasty stuff that goes around addiction. There's a lot of pain. You know, once you have an addict in your home, you are in some form of hell. So to help people, just talking to somebody and saying somebody is broken and they get back together, it is so fulfilling, it's so rewarding. It's a different kind of, I stopped looking for excitement, I start looking for serenity. Yeah. So helping people is such a big thing since even in the Bible. And disciple people.
And disciple people. And Jemai, for you, how was the journey of sobering up?
I think at first when I came back and now stopped drinking, I was excited, but I was also doubting, is it really? But then I quickly had to wake up and say that I also have to support. So I quickly had to also understand what are some of the triggers that would lead him to drink the more, in triggers within a space that I had control over. So try to manage those as well. But also putting a little boundaries here and there for certain things, of course, now like certain people, certain friends whom you know could easily, you want to set, yes, certain things at home, so that, okay, at home there will be no alcohol, you know, putting away some of those things. And of course, trying to be as involved in his recovery as much as possible, so that today maybe I have an AA meeting, I want to meet some friends and this, I'm like, hey, it's okay not to say that, I tell you how, no, Sharp, you're supposed to be at home, no, because part of that also helps him in a way. So that support to know that. It's a recovery journey. It's a journey as well, because it must be also a shock for them. Like he said, the body is also trying to fight. So how do I support as much as possible for him to keep going day by day? Because if I don't support, the doubt comes back, and then he can easily fall back. So we have to be a very strong supportive pillar for them to get through year 1, year 2, year 3, and things like that.
So, Jemimah, but there are people who say, to control it, let me get the alcohol at home. He drinks from home. And for you, saying you just, like, what do you say about that? I mean, if he can drink his 2 bottles at home.
I think for an addict, there is no way to say they can drink their 2 bottles at home, because the 2 will lead to 10 and lead to something else. Remember, there's something that they have different from someone else. Why is it someone so can drink only 3 and they're okay, and yet you'll drink 1 and it leads to maybe 10 bottles. So the easiest thing is to say, don't be around spaces where that alcohol is there until you've reached maybe a certain point, and you can. Baby steps, yes.
So you keep talking about these AA things, and they sound like movies. Do you have those things in your plan?
They are support groups. They are there. There are support groups. There are websites. There are a couple of support groups. People are growing. People are understanding and getting out. Your local churches should know where such groups are. Even these help centers. Google is your friend.
Mr. Google should help us.
Yes, the groups are there.
But they are there in Uganda. Someone can reach out and get support.
Yes, they are there.
And this whole thing of rehab, you talked about rehab, I think, at some point.
Yes.
Does it actually work?
Does anything actually work? It's not 100%. You know, alcoholism is a chronic disease.
It's a chronic disease.
Different from an acute disease. An acute disease is like malaria. Like if you had malaria, you'd go, take your blood, we see the parasites, take this dose and you're gone. Alcoholism is not like that. It's not like, we get you, we say, you see alcohol, do this and this and that. It's now about managing behavior, lifestyle, things like that. So like saying you have diabetes. Don't take sweet stuff, don't do this, don't do this, manage this and that. So the problem is, I can take you to rehab, you get well,
and
bring you back, but it's an inside job. So if I haven't given you tools, like one of the biggest causes of relapse is anger. Like if you haven't learned how to manage your anger in a healthy way.
Like the next time you get angry, you'll look for your bottle.
Yes. It's some spiritual stuff there. Because anger really separates you from God. Like people don't get angry, then they say, let me pray and things like that. They feel so righteous.
It actually draws you away from God,
Yes. So when you are drawn away from that protection, so rehabs they're not guaranteed.
But they're an option.
Yeah, there are loads of options in Uganda. Even going to the church is an option. Yeah, I've met people, they have prayed for them and they've got well.
Okay. So, just for the sake of our viewers, how long have you been sober?
A long time, like 15 years.
Like 15 years. Interesting. Okay. This is a very interesting conversation, but I think we need to come to an end of it. And before we close, I just wanted each of us, Jemimah, what can you tell our viewers? What would be your parting shots? What would you want someone out there, either in the situation you were in or in the situation Derrick was in, what would you encourage them to do?
I think I always take pride in faith, believing that God can help us through this, because you'll reach a point where you can't do it on your own, and you need to hold on to faith. So faith, and for me that's where also the faith led me to kept me going and supporting as much as possible. So faith is number one. Number two, I would say seek help.
You as an individual.
Yes, a spouse, a mother, children of addicts, to look for help as much as possible to help them cope with some of those situations. So for me, that is the two. But I would also say that there is hope in recovery. There is hope in recovery. Don't lose hope. It may be tough, a few days here and there, but once you have your faith, once you have people to hold, the community to hold you, to support, or to talk to you about it, yeah, there is hope.
Wow, there is hope. There is hope. Let's not give up. And Derrick, you have a very interesting story. You said someone was saying that the only way someone can tell me what to do is if they've been there and they have managed to get out of it. And you're one of the lucky few who has been there, and now you can actually, you have authority to talk about it because you have walked the journey. So what would you tell our viewers who are struggling with that, with addictions, any sort of addiction actually, and what encouragement do you give them and their families?
Yes, I'll keep repeating this because it is something we forget. We may lose sight of. There is victory. There is victory. The formula is known. It's very interesting, but the formula is known. Get help. You can't do this on your own. Get help. Like I said, there are support groups out there. Look at them, look for them. There are people, I'm not the only one. I have friends, I know a lot of people out there. Talk to anyone in your church, your community, and things like that. Build your relationship with God, your God. It's really so important. You can't do it alone. And also, I always we have to thank the wives, the mothers, and even the fathers and husbands. It's a terrible disease, and we thank you really for loving us and being there for us. And yeah, get help. Just get help. You can't do it on your own.
Thank you very much, Derrick. Thank you, Jemimah. And our viewers, you've heard, get help. Getting help doesn't make you seem weak. Actually, there is strength in getting help. And as Derrick has said, there is victory after addiction. So do not give up on yourself and feel you've done this for so long. We've heard Derrick's story. He had done it for 10 years, but he's recovered, he's sober, he's been sober for over 15 years. I don't know what your addiction is, I don't know what you're struggling with, but as he said, get help. And there is hope. There is hope after all that. Thank you very much for watching us. I remain Phiona Mbowa here at Church of Uganda Family TV, Ring Diaries.